how Croc changed our lives.
And just
We
like
are
that,
back.
the podcast goes live. And then it's dead.
No, it's not dead. Carrie's just like getting that one last bite of food in the trachea. I take magnesium. Actually, I take magnesium 3 and 8 and 2 other things. And then a hint of ZZ-Quil. Not a serving. I just rip it like I'm like, just like let it taste the tongue.
Taking apigenin too.
What exactly does magnesium do?
Makes you poop.
I don't know this. Makes you
Oh
poop?
my
That's
God.
it?
Let's just go basic. 101 is what it should do. It's what most men are deficient in, mostly. All right, that's the number one thing. Men, magnesium deficiency, you're talking sleep, talking muscles, you're talking anti-anxiety. I mean, just on like a basic level. But there's so many different types of magnesium, and this one's more of an electrolyte versus this one's more of a this. Like, I don't know. I'm not a Huberman. Actually, I bet Carrie knows more.
I don't, but I know I can look around and find it pretty fast. I can tell you that when I took magnesium, and I still take it occasionally, I think this is what the thing people mess up about sleep. They're like, they get up at 7 a.m. and then they try and go to bed at, they're like, I'm in bed at 9:30 staring at a screen. And then they get to bed by like 11 or 12 and then they do it all over again. I'm like, have you considered just getting up at 4 once and just reset the cycle? People are like, that'd be terrible. Like, just try it. And then if you're not tired at the end of the day, then assess why, right? Because you had the coffee at 3 p.m. or whatever, or you're just generally drinking too much caffeine. Anyway, I say all of that to say, like, any other time I've had any issue waking up in the middle of the night, that like there's like a sleep pack. It's like all magnesium 3 and 8, apigenin, and another magnesium. And I sleep straight through the night. This is not a sponsored part of the podcast.
No, not, dude. I've been taking this NAD plus in the morning. I'm just like, oh yeah, let's go, baby. Work, let's do it. It's been working, I think.
Yeah, they say caffeine plus nicotine equals protein.
Who says that?
I mean, I'm not sure who says that.
Chuck Daly, the golfer.
Okay.
You guys, you gotta look him up. He's the best.
So you said, I was
He's
like, okay, I'm sure this is going.
I think that, is that the guy's name that was
No, wait, did I just say Chuck Daly?
Connection?
Oh, I meant to say he's the dude. He's the golfer with the big mullet who's like always been overweight and drinks beer and just like smokes cigarettes on the court.
That's how much I know about golf.
John Daly. I was thinking of John Daly from the Pistons.
No, sorry. So
John
your nutritional advice is null and void. Got it.
Null and void.
All right, Andrew, bring us to what is the lay of the land in the affiliate landscape? Seems how you're the one that's got the most access to most affiliate owners on a daily basis.
I think the lay of the land is that I want to say this gently. Coming. Yeah, the Open's coming. I think the lay of the land though is, do you guys know the saying like no one's coming to save you? Like we all feel that. And I think that speaks to any individual on a different level.
That was the tagline of Fit Building for like 2 years.
Was it? Mm-hmm. No one's coming to save you. But at the end of the day, that hits home for a lot of people in a lot of different ways. And when it comes to your business, no one is truly like people are not just going to, hey, I want to sign up for your gym. And I think that's the biggest problem is that when a lot of these owners got involved, you could literally have blood on your boxes. There'd be a cat in the corner. There's a roof leak, and you just put the word CrossFit up and people are going to run to it. And that doesn't happen anymore. And it's sad because it was cool, but you have to adapt and you have to change. And I think that with competition is good, that brought a lot more people in the space, but it's hard to capitalize on that. I don't know what I just said, but that's the framework, what I'm feeling right now. Because all I care about is business. I care about small business, and how they're doing. That's where my heart lies.
I think that was a strong kickoff. High five for you on that one. I do two things that I think are funny. One, the playful banter that was, and then Andrew comes in with the philosophical thing, and we all just got so quiet. Just all right on cue. We're all right into character. Love it. But I do think that is a great conversation starter, because the whole "no one's coming to save you" thing, for me, in affiliate, it is central to so much of the frustration or the threat that we see inside the affiliate landscape, which is, and I've said this 1,000 times on the podcast, but is standardization and doubt, right? And really, those two things have come to be the big risk inside that landscape, is that the collective identity that is CrossFit affiliate owner is very easy to target. It's very easy to hone in on. It's very easy to direct campaigns, products, advertising, etc. And frankly, there's blood in the water. Another thing I was going to say, I swore to God you said blood on your boxers when you said blood on your boxes, and I was like, what?
That would be a medical. Yeah, you'd have to go see a doctor.
I was
on that
like,
one.
there were some crazy old days, but I'm not sure they were that crazy. But what ends up happening because of that collective identity is so many people, I would say circa 2016, 2017, really started to begin preying on them and had convinced them of the opposite. Somebody is going to come save us, right? Like, and that looks like a talking head, a face, a guru, a mentor, whoever has the answers that I could conveniently pay for, download, and become a part of might be the solution to that. And here we are. Can't even believe I'm going to say 2025, because I'm not sure where 2021, 2, 3, or 4 went, but we're now in a time where at least the collective identity of the affiliate owner seems to be fracturing, in my opinion, in terms of they've now begun to look back inward, like, you know what, maybe we are the solution to this thing, as opposed to like the last handful of years, they were very much looking outward. And so I don't know if that really continues on your conversation as much as it takes in a different direction, but if we're going to, infinitely scale CrossFit affiliates, back to the new line and the new name of the podcast, we're going to have to figure out what that really means, right? Like, and I think to your point, Andrew, a lot of them post 2010 easy era, when you could Craigslist your way into business, you didn't even have to you could be a warehouse back corner, they were going to find you. In today's day and age, you got to stand out, right? And in a world that's competing for attention, this is probably just a tee up to someone like Jay, is like, we need to get them to a point where, or they need to get to a point where they become crystal clear on what it is that they do individually inside their affiliate, different than other affiliates, other gyms, other micro gyms, other places, so that people know, when I need this solution, looks like where I get it. Because that wasn't the case in the old days. In like 2010, it was like, I need to actually get in shape for the first time in my adult fucking life. I'm going to go into this crazy backdoor gym where there's a bunch of people doing crazy things. And that's going to work. But then now we got people really fit, out of pain. And now it's like 10 years of more than anecdotal data of this is what this thing fixes. And so now we got to tell those stories.
Yeah, I think there's like I don't know if it's a quote or more or less like a story that when, let's just say, posting on social media, I know a lot of affiliate owners be like, God, I hate that shit. Understand. Like, I empathize. Tony definitely empathizes. Loves social media. It's like, it's a joke. But at the end of the day, they have this doubt because I'm doing something that I don't like and it's not working. And you don't know if you're just stacking positive days or not. Basketball player, Chris Paul, one of my favorite things, and is a little motivation thing, is he's like, you just got to keep stacking positive days. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter any win in that day if you can just keep stacking positive days. So just because you're posting on social media and nothing has happened, no members are coming in, it doesn't actually mean that it's not working. You just haven't stacked enough positive days yet. Right. I know with me, when it comes to business, my wife, how many times have I said her name on this podcast? I swear it's going to be like when she's 80, I'm going to find all these podcasts and like bring it up.
We're going to make her the guest.
Do you know what I mean? And so, heaven forbid, I've had so many terrible ideas. Terrible. And I don't know, maybe they weren't bad, but they didn't work out. But at least I threw a dart at them. And then all of a sudden, like, boom, 1 out of 700 hit. Hey, sweet. If I didn't throw the 699, I'm not going to know. So I don't know. I think owners need to figure out what's truly the thing that's holding me back, because it's obviously you. You are holding you back because of a certain reason, and just keep stacking positive things in there. Like, we know posting on social media is going to probably drive more traffic and bring people more. You don't need to pay anyone to hear that. But, and even if you don't do it that well, 50 not that well posts are better than maybe 3 good ones at the end of the day. So I don't know. That's something I wish they could grasp a little more on that.
I think what you're
I think for, oh, go ahead. Oh, no, I would just, what I've been noticing, because I work with some gyms on their social media, and, that is a huge thing for them. It's, there's this kind of preconception about social media. Greg used to talk about it, right? It's the 1-800 dentist. Like, well, what are you selling? Fucking water? Fucking selling shoes? Like, no, that's not what we do, right? But the big question that most people or affiliates would come to Greg with, the question was around, how do I get clients, right? And he would say, I don't know how clients get you clients. Well, then how do you get those fucking clients, right? You're going to have to market, you got to do something, right? And a part of, I think, what doesn't come natural for affiliate owners is just like developing programming, just much like you develop programming around your workouts, doing that around days of the week and social media and content producing, all that stuff. And so it's really kind of trying to wrap coaches and owners, their mindset around just content programming for your gym, right? Very simple. On this day, I'm going to produce a testimonial. On this day, I'm going to produce a quote.
Like a schedule. Like you're saying, a schedule.
It's a schedule. Yep. That's all it is, right? And then you're sticking to it on the days that you don't want to fucking do it, like just like a workout. There are days I don't want to go work out, but I know I have the damn fucking workout programmed, so I'm going to do it, whether I like it or not. So kind of it's that switch that we just need to flip on a majority of affiliate owners and coaches, for sure.
Yeah, I think Andrew, back to what you were saying, like 1 out of 700, right? Like you just bias towards action, right? Like the action for you might have been like throwing them up to your wife and being like, I think we should do, like a dog party and rent like an inflatable pool. And she's like, that's fucking terrible. Like, no, we're not going to do that. And then the next one you had, whatever that one was good, but like it's actually creating the thought, putting it on paper, and then putting something behind it and like bouncing it off a wall at the very least, as opposed to having this conversation in your head and then just getting caught thinking you're doing something. Like, I'm gonna research that. I'm gonna get 5 different ways of doing that thing that you don't even know if it's a good idea. And they just get stuck, and they just live being stuck. And they think, well, my day was so busy, I've done something right. It's like busy isn't the measure of success, right? Like you need to move towards something. And if you don't know how you're moving towards something, right? Like Jay, what you're saying, yeah, build it, right? Like goes back to old school programming of like, oh, it's monostructural, weightlifting, gymnastics. Oh, this one's mixed. Okay, cool. And like, you don't cherry pick, right? Like the last thing I want to do is go run a 5K, but it's the most programmed workout from Mainside ever. So like naturally I've done many of them. You just got to show up. You just show up, right? And the same thing, if you show up knowing you have to do social media, find a way to make it easier. Hire Jay, do something else. Like there are other ways to make that thing easier. Talk to a kid. They certainly like social media a lot more than you do as a aging affiliate owner. Like there are plenty of people out there. Are you using your resources well? And like, what do you want to create? Well, I wouldn't want to let them do it that way. I want to tell the story. Well, then tell the damn story and figure out, get out of your own way and like let people do the things that they're good at. If you're holding up your hand saying, I'm not good at this thing, find somebody who is. Are you good at finding people?
They're in your community. I mean, you just got to be, what's that word? Perspicacious. You just got to fucking just be aware, be attuned to, people who like to take pictures, people who like to, go on the socials and just fucking work a trade. It's not,
dude, that's
not rocket.
Jay. I like this. I feel like we're going to have a lot of good, positive banter. Because I take, for example, there's this girl on seminar staff, Melody Feldman. So shout out to Melody. Maybe she'll listen. I remember when she got on staff a little bit before I did. She could nail, like, just delivering the material, and her feedback was constantly, "Hey, I don't know what it is. I feel like you're stiff up there. You're delivering everything." And she was like, "I just don't know how any other way to feel uncomfortable. Like, because I'm gonna, I go there, do the thing." And she actually took it upon herself to join a karaoke league because she wanted to get more exposure to feeling drastically uncomfortable when it comes to that. I checked the other day, and it improved her performance like crazy. And I checked the other day, she's still doing her karaoke league. So I do wonder with affiliate owners, because you know a lot about media. One of my favorite media people on planet Earth is still Dave Ramsey. It's going to be to this day. People laugh. I'm not talking about his content only. He delivers stuff great. He has done for the last 20 years, 3-hour either radio shows or podcasts, or now it's on YouTube, Monday through Friday for 3, maybe even 4 hours a day. You cannot tell me that there's not gold in there when you do that much volume. So if you don't know where to start, you can just, even on your schedule, like you just said, Jay, like, I'm going to testimonial this day, etc. If even that's overwhelming to you, every single day for 5 days, just stick a camera in front of your face, talk about what workout you're going to do and how you're going to scale it, how you feel about it, and talk to one member. Like, just make it repetitious and simple. And at some point, then you can go maybe hire somebody to be like, I got all this shit. I don't know what to do with it. And all of a sudden they're like, that's a lot of shit. I can work with that.
That's so true. And it's funny because it's like, if we look at the methodology and we look at mechanics, consistency, intensity, right? A lot of people get overwhelmed by intensity in this regard, right? Where it's like, oh, I got to produce all this fucking content. I got to do more. I got to get this. I got to do that. And they don't end up doing any of it. Why? Because they're putting the cart before the horse, right? They need to prioritize the mechanics and just figure out what's like low hanging fruit that they can create. Like what you're saying, stick a camera in front of your face. This is the content that I can produce today, right? And it doesn't need to be super flashy, right? I can just film a class, put a picture up, add a caption. That's it, right? And then work on the consistency piece, develop a little schedule. And then you can, once you have the mechanics and consistency, then you can dial it up and then start to do more. But most people just get stuck on the idea of like the intensity of this is what's going to take. And it's like, fuck that. It's going to cost me to do nothing,
I think the secret sauce in that statement has always been the consistency part. I think everybody, not to say that there's anything against what you just said, Jay, but like, because conversely, we see people who they pre-weight or overweight the mechanics, and I got that one barefoot dude in the gym who's just too busy doing mobility before to do anything else, right? Because they put so much emphasis on the mechanics, they completely jump the shark on intensity. But the reality is that even if you were too intense or you were predisposed or obsessed with mechanics, if you just did that every single day, you're still going to get fitter. Somebody's going to come along and be like, hey, let's tailor that and modulate that into the right direction. And so I think we can start with either of them, but like, without that consistency piece, what's funny about intensity and mechanics, though, is that they can almost mitigate your attempts at consistency. Because, like, back to the, kind of the social media conversation or the awareness conversation, or the 700 days, stacking positive days. Like, social media is the evergreen distraction for small businesses in today's day and age, right? Like, and it's not because of the distraction that it's bad. It's that we know it's necessary, right? At this point, even mom and pops and baby boomers are trying to figure out how to put their 35-year-old plumbing business on social media for the first time ever. And they're like, do I just put up clogged pipes and post about them like this? I don't know what to do with my hands, right? But then on the other side, like, there's another evergreen, piece of distraction in the affiliate landscape that's a little bit different than social media, and that's coach development. You see this one just as much. Like, you've got affiliate owners, they like to split down the middle, and they're like, if I just really, really, really care about coach development, the thing about both of those is you can never be done with them, ever. You can never be too good at social media. You can never be too good at coach development. But the reality is that you can absolutely stack the deck in those favors and decrease the fitness of your business. If your focus is this all coach development, well, then you're probably not paying attention to social media, right? Or marketing or telling your story or otherwise, or vice versa. And so the reason I say that social media becomes this incessant distraction, the thing that separates from where I sit with affiliate owners in anything, whether it be social media, coach development, operations, et cetera, is what makes something distraction versus traction is essentially doing it for reaction or doing it for intention. And so back to your point, Jay, if we can shift any small business owner, but especially an affiliate owner, to some degree of intention, we can get them to consistency, right? Like build the schedule, commit to 365 days, K-star your YouTube channel, right? Like, I don't know what I'm going to talk about, but I'm going to make one video every single day. And next thing you know, you're the supple leopard, right? Like, a year from now, you've got a content bank that's massive. If Kelly would have said, okay, I'm going to plan out all 365 days, all of my talking points, all the potential tools, props, conversations, guests that I'm going to need, like, he would have never started. And this is what you end up seeing so much with affiliate owners, not just in the social media space, but anything, right? They use the Tashas and they put knowing in the way of knowing, and they go endlessly research and they obsess over things in the pursuit of betterment, and knowledge ends up getting in the way of action. And so, whether that in any area of their business, if we can just get them to say, hey, if social media is your weakness, if coach development is your weakness, if sales is your weakness, marketing, vision, whatever that is, if we can just commit to every day for 30 days, let's do a thing, just a thing. There's no way, just like in fitness, you don't get better, right? Like that's intention. But if instead you say, oh, I need to make a social media post because the gym in town did, right? Or, oh, I need a social media post because I haven't posted one in a while. There's a huge difference there. And this is why people get so obsessed with things like social media is the easy one because we're all addicted to it, right? It's in every one of our faces. And it's a constant reminder of like, I'm not doing good enough because I don't have 72 million followers. And so like the key really in it is just, let's get them all to intention, because if we can get them there, we can get them into traction.
And the reason, Tony, I feel like I never said this. I feel like why you always say social media is a distraction is because most owners or most people are on the consumption side. They're on the consumption side, and then the comparison, comparing themselves, and that robs their joy. We all know that quote. But it's and understand, don't be mad at yourself, because you're going to go through phases of life where you become a consumer. Like, I know I'm consumed more by social media right now in this phase of my life. I got 3 kids screaming, etc. I go on X and look up some investing stuff. It just like, it takes me away. I'm not sitting here saying that is good, but it's currently a phase, and there will be something that probably snaps me out of that. And I'll probably go to the other extreme level where it's like, I'm not going to touch the thing and I'm only going to produce, but I have to have intention. But I think most owners are stuck in the consumption phase of social media, which if you're trapped in the consumption, producing seems like I'm exhausted, man. I don't want to produce. What if you only produce and didn't consume, instead of waking up and scrolling and be like, well, I'm going to wake up and produce something right now. I mean, that's a whole nother way to view social media being a distraction. But we all go through that. We all go through that.
I think that's true to a point. I think if you talk to people that are successful on social media, I've asked quite a few that are, like literally their job is setting up the ring light and then turning it on so they can talk to their followers and their audience. They're like, yep, I get in there to post and then I get out and I will filter comments as needed, or, that's something that I don't even mess with. And that makes more sense to me because those people are not caught in distraction. They're creating, right? Not like, do I want to be a creator? Do I want to be on social media? Like, no, that's not my thing. But they found a way to do that and also detach from it. And I think that's like, there's a sweet spot in there, right? Like, because if you're a business owner, you need to engage with it to some degree, but you don't need to hop on, forget why you got there in the first place, lose 45 minutes, then maybe post the thing that or maybe even get just depressed about like, well, my thing's not going to be as good as this person that's got 4 million followers and has posted every day of their life. Like, Yeah. So what? That's also, you're talking to completely different audiences. Like if you remember, that good old CrossFit.com back in the day, what was the simplicity of that? Post a photo that you didn't take or create, that was user submitted, and maybe there was a piece of content with it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
go back. The videos weren't good, but they did them, right? They put up something so that people could see what the attraction was. So, like, is it valuable to walk by everybody on the rowers and grab some video of that? Hell yeah. Yeah, your members like seeing that. Start there.
Add to that, Carrie, majority, if you're an affiliate worth your salt, you're going to have Google testimonials. You're going to have Yelp testimonials. You just type in your name on the Googles and you're going to see all kinds of testimonials. Those are super valuable because all you got to do is copy and paste that text. And what's nice about Instagram now, it's just like you have your own little fucking text editor or whatever, video editor. You could just snap a photo of your community, copy and paste a testimonial from Yelp or from Google reviews, slap that right on, boom, you're done. That's a post for today. It can be as simple as that, and that can drive the needle because you're really in a testimonial. It's a short way of telling a story, right? A short little transformation story. Like I came in, 200 pounds overweight, and I lost X amount due to, the coaching staff here at CrossFit Avalanche or whatever. But we need more of that. And it's right there in front of you. It's not hard to get.
I think, go ahead.
Go ahead, Gary. Well, I think now you're confusing me. I'm silent.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Go ahead.
Go.
Okay. I think where Tony's expertise is that he cracks down on mental health, whether he knows it or not. He's not going to define himself as a therapist. He hates that word. But at the end of the day, I know through when you're able to speak to somebody like Tony a lot, you gather into the mental health piece of this. Like, why when I think about this thing, does it absolutely I start sweating? What's going on with my body? Why is my heart rate low but my blood pressure high, or vice versa? Like, I can't figure this thing out. And those questions need to be asked, and you need to have a buddy or someone to talk to. Like, at the end of the day, you want to know the best person to talk to is another affiliate owner. Boz and Heather were on my call yesterday. We're talking about the Open. And the first thing they got on, I said, hey, I want this to be the most unofficial thing you've ever done. I don't want you to feel like you got to provide. I just want Boz and Heather here right now. And you could easily see their shoulders drop a little bit. And it's like, well, yeah, this is reality. Sure, you can just show some slides, tell some things, but like, let's just chill and be present with one another and see where it goes. And ultimately, they said, with the Community Cup, which I actually think that's going to, maybe not this year, but long term, it's going to do really well. The levels thing is going to do really well. Nobody wants to go in a jiu-jitsu competition. I'm doing my first one in February, and I'm scared shitless. And I'm like, I know I need to do it because of that. And I'm like, if I had to go in and fucking compete against brown belts just because I'm bigger or something, like I'd be like, fuck this. And that's kind of the same concept here. And Boz did a really good job, and Heather, they both broke that sentiment down. But you need to have, and they said, hey, why don't you do the Community Cup with another gym? And I was like, like, you can talk to other gym owners about your mental health because they probably have the same, not literally like, hey, got something going on in my marriage. Like, that's not what we're talking about. It's mainly like, hey man, I'm struggling with like just getting to class excited or whatever. And you'd be surprised that the affiliate don't be like, bro, I've been through that, or I'm doing it right now, or this thing helped me. And then all of a sudden you just made a friend, and like you keep texting with them, and all of a sudden the posting anxiety doesn't feel as high.
Yeah.
I think that's underutilized now. It used to not be, but now it is.
Yeah. I think two things there. Like, one, why not call another affiliate owner and say, this is what's going on in my marriage? Because I think any intelligent person can understand that whatever's going on at home will bleed into your business. Like certainly if it's something that big, right? Like whatever emotions you are bottling up and pushing down, they're going to spill out if you don't just feel them. So start there, right? But like, yeah, to the degree that you know that person, like reach out, make a connection. But I also I don't want to trivialize what affiliate owners have going on because everybody's at a different stage, right? Like we don't know if, you're the only person in the, in the business that has to be responsible for coaching every class, turning the lights on, washing the floors, and doing all of that. And then by the time you get to social media, yeah, I get it. You don't quite know what to do. You get lost in, some paralysis by I don't know where to start. I'm not going to start. If you're that person, I get that. If it's not that, and you're like, oh, I coach a couple classes a week because I've been around for 10 years and this is my thing. What's holding you back? Start, do something. But I think I know there are so many affiliate owners that are doing so much, and I think maybe that's the only path they see forward is I have to do all the things because I'm the only one that knows how to do them right. Until what we've seen is you get that one person that you can actually show the systems to. This is how you do it. Now I don't do it. Boy, did that free up some time.
I think for two things. One, I don't hate the word therapy, Andrew. I'm just not a therapist. So I don't want to scope creep. I don't want anybody to think that I am, however, my area of expertise, if I have one, is behavior, right? And so I'm just a behavioral interventionist. So, but it's my job to observe, just like any coaches, right, is to observe patterns, whether they be subconscious or conscious in humans' life, business, environments, physicality, whatever, and ask questions, right? And so the reason I circle back to that one is kind of back to Carrie's point here too, is figuring out, there's a reason why they're not going to call each other, right? Let's just call a spade a spade. The reason why affiliate owners aren't going to pick up the phone and call another affiliate owner is because they think they do the same thing, right? And so now each one of them is viewed as a threat instead of an asset or an ally. And the reason for that is accidental, right? And it's because somebody didn't let them or ask them the right questions to get them crystal clear on what it is that's individually unique about their journey and this thing that they sought to replicate or create and share with the world when they decided to become an affiliate owner, right? So if you don't get crystal clear on that, you'll accidentally say, CrossFit changed my life. Well, no shit. It changes everybody's life. How, right? What did it do for you and in what degree? And one of the things that usually comes up in this conversation is that, and this is, Carrie said on a couple of discovery calls where this has come up, is that the one thing in various different flavors that has replicated itself in every single one of those stories is that CrossFit is infallible in its ability to create agency in any single person that encounters it. Meaning, it's probably one of the first things in an adult life that somebody gets to come into and be really fucking bad at safely and be positively motivated to continue to do the thing until you start to get better. And then you get a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better. And for the first time in probably your adult life, one, you've learned a new skill. And two, you start to have control in an otherwise uncontrollable adult world, right? And so people are like, this is fucking awesome. I love it here. That's why people end up throwing away their careers, becoming CrossFit coaches, buy affiliates that aren't worth anything and pay too much money for, get into them. And they're like, yeah, let's do fitness. And then they've forgotten or didn't even pay attention to the fact that maybe fitness wasn't the thing that it was all along. It was just, that was the application of the agency that I pursued in my journey. And so the reason I even share that relatively, deep part of it is back to Andrew's point about behavior, is that if somebody can ask you better questions, you can arrive at better answers, right? Because the central part of business, regardless of what industry you're in, is what fucking problem are you solving for people, right? And if you don't know that, then you're just trying to sell a product. And this is where it becomes an issue for so many, not just affiliate owners, but businesses in general. They buy, borrow, barter a product. Let's call them an Amazon reseller. You go find this thing on Temu and you're like, I'm going to sell this thing. You're not really solving a problem. You just got this thing cheaper. And you're like, if I just get enough people to pay attention that I can buy it for me cheaper, I'll sell a bunch of them. That's not being an entrepreneur. That's not, changing the world for the better. And that's not creating agency for both yourself and the world around you. And so if we can get people to understand, hey, what problem are you solving? What's unique about that is that every affiliate is different. They do it the same way. They use the methodology every single time with every single person. But if you said, hey, what problem do you solve? It's some degree of giving people their life back, but they have a different angle as to like what that meant for them or how they'd like to do that. And so if we can empower them to essentially dig into that and dig into and lean into their individuality, they can absolutely pour gas on that fire. Back to Jay's point, like you can walk around your gym and look for all of those touch points, all of those people, all those stories, because they're all going to be, you know, remnants or replicants of that central story that started that affiliate. And you see this all the time. That's why every gym has a quote unquote culture. It's not because like somebody plays punk rock versus somebody plays country music. That's part of it, right? But it's all because that person that's at the helm had their life changed this way. And so for them, when it comes time to change 150 plus other lives, it becomes some degree of an extension of that. And where this goes wrong, and I know that I'm like way out ahead of this thing, but where this goes wrong is we can go back to social media. If I said, hey, let's grow your social media, give me some ideas. You would instinctively, most people would say, okay, I'm going to go look for a couple of really good social media channels. I'm going to try to copy them. Right? And what ends up happening there is that copying ends up to an endless, you know, chasing of the tail of distraction, because you're trying to do everything that someone else is doing without figuring out how you can do the thing you do. Instead, just say, let's grow your social media. So let's start first with committing to an action. Back to Carrie's point. If we can commit to an action and we can say, okay, how many days can you keep that up? Truly. Oh, I don't know. Like, let's say it's making reels and you're not good at video editing. If you say, I'm going to make one reel every day for 365 days, but it takes you 45 minutes a day to make a reel, we got to probably find a lighter lift, right? Like, let's start smaller. Like, can we repost something? Can we just share something? Because if we can do that, 30 days from now, you're unrecognizable. You've developed a skill set. You're into a position of intention versus reaction. And then you don't have to be so focused on, oh, I should be more like Jay, or I should be more like Carrie, or I should be more like Andrew, right? Instead, you get to appreciate it like, oh, Andrew does things like this. Jay does things like this. And so to make this full circle back to calling other affiliate owners, until they realize that they are not the same, they just use the same methodology, they're not going to call each other on the phone. And that's the problem.
Mr. Behavior. You're right. You're absolutely right. And you know, I think this was in The Last Dance, Michael Jordan. They talk about, well, man, what made him so special? It's like we could go on a million things, but as you know, the biggest Michael Jordan fan in the 90s, one guy, I think he was the owner of the Bulls at the time, he said his unwillingness to be present in every moment, his unwillingness, like it was, people would ask, like, how do you not? He's like, why would I even think about a shot I haven't taken? And you look at how he lived. I mean, true, like he's golfing 36 holes before games. You know, say what you want about that time, but like he truly was in every moment, at every shot, at every golf swing, like the games. But that's not saying he doesn't care. And what, to Tony's point about behavior, what the average affiliate owner doesn't know is that they're offering adults 1 hour a day to truly be present, because they're walking into your door and they're talking to their friends, because we live chaotic lives as adults in 2025. It's weird. It's not supposed to be this way. We all know this. And then they're working out where they're not thinking, because a lot of people have to work out at intensity to not think. Let's have us four just go meditate. Who's going to fucking break that first, right? You got Tony thinking about God knows what. My brain's in the clouds. Carrie's probably doing it well. And then Jay's looking at Carrie. You know, it's just like,
Andrew, you're breaking first. Just so we're all clear on this, we already know who's breaking first. That's Andrew.
Right. So, and it's like, when you're doing a 20-minute EMOM, you know, after a warm up, after you're chatting with your friend, you leave that hour and you're like, why the fuck am I so happy? And you're like, oh, you're just present for 60 minutes. The hard part is being the leader. Is the leader in the affiliate. You are not always present, because it doesn't really leave you, because you have these 150 people's livelihood of presence, and that will keep you up at night. So when you do stay up at night, instead of looking at it as a curse, I want you to listen to this and think of this. When you stay up at night, look at it as appreciation. Look at it as like, man, I deserve to be fired up because I have so much responsibility. And that's a good thing. Maybe you'll fall right asleep. I don't know. But like, give yourself grace to be anxious because you are wearing a heavy vest, because they're coming to you for the best hour of their day. You know what I mean? It's just like,
yeah, I love that.
It just,
quote.
It's interesting because it's being in conversation with other affiliates around this time, there's a lot of anxiety around just the open, right? And Friday night lights and having to fucking run an event at your gym. And, like what you're saying, I mean, that honestly, I love it, but I also see the other side of things where the perspective or the perception around, like, let's just say the open, bringing it, to your affiliate, making a big event. Most affiliates, I'm just going to speak from the ones I'm talking to, they dread it, right? And in a way, it's just like they're looking for something. Or what's HQ going to do for me? What incentives are they going to provide, right? So I can run this thing, instead of looking at it from your perspective, which is like the right one, whereas it's like, hey, this is a community-based thing where people can get, feel present and be together in competition and yada yada, right? And I think that thing, there's been a kind of a shift I've noticed, just because of the kind of almost the commodification of CrossFit HQ, right? Proper, and I don't know if that's going to change or how it changes, but that's just something I've been noticing.
Yeah,
well, it's funny because, go ahead, Gary.
I think it's interesting to talk about the open and be surprised by it, right? It's like, are you surprised by taxes each year? Like, you shouldn't be. They're coming around. The open's coming around. So like, it goes back to what we talk about a lot, which is like could versus should. What could the open be in your affiliate? You can run intramurals. You can run Friday night lights. You can run the classes all day on Friday, all day on Saturday, like whatever. It can be around the competitive athletes. It could be around your legends class. Like, it doesn't matter. It could be all of those things, or it could be one of those things. It's about taking it, if you want, and highlighting it. Don't think of it as an extra burden. You've had as much time as anybody. You weren't at the games. Like, so when did your season stop? Like, it stopped last year at the Open. Now you've had an entire calendar year to plan for this thing. It can be an amazing, uplifting time for people to actually engage with their, like, I learn more about the people in my affiliate during the Open than any other time during the year, because we do intramural teams. Like, there's 40 people that I'm deeply connected to, that I'm on an email thread, potentially a text thread. I see them, in class. We're all wearing the same t-shirt when we do the workout. Like, there's camaraderie built through that alone. So, and you don't have to do any of that, but like, know that it's a moment. Like, we've all agreed that a test of fitness is an appropriate thing to have with, like, we need to test somewhere along our path, right? We need to have these data points that tell us I am getting fitter, right? The Open is that. Why would you not? So we should champion that. We should have all of our members do it for that reason alone, right? Like, it's a great test. Let's see where you fall this year. Let's see how it compares to next year. It's the same thing you're talking about when you're weighing and measuring your food. We need to check in and see, it's the reason you step on a scale, right? We need these, quantifiable metrics to look at. And why not give that to your people? Let's not just say, yeah, you're fitter. We know, because of what? I mean, you can do that in a number of ways, but the Open is one that is pre-programmed and set for you for $20.
Yeah.
I've got all the reason not to do it, but like, I still do it every year. Like, why not? I love it. It's great.
It is. That's a great point, Kerry. Really well said too. And, on the call, I definitely just say whatever I'm thinking. Love it or hate it, it's no. And man, they broke down where every single dollar was going for the Open. And I had to come off mute, and I'm like, fucking dumb. Not dumb that they did that. It's amazing. Mm-hmm. But that's where our culture is right now. Our culture is at a lack of trust of XYZ, that they need a single-handed receipt
Transaction.
And I'm like, you guys, I am so sorry that this is where our culture is right now. And I don't mean that, and that I'm dealing with it, you're dealing with it. At the end of, and I told, so I'm like, man, I invested in Netflix, and I called them to check before their earnings came out, and no one fucking answered. They didn't tell me where my $39.99 was going. And I was just deeply offended. And I'm like, say half of it's going into my pocket. Just see what happens. It's $20 to go do an amazing fitness competition. You're going to go do things like this all the time. Like if we're just, and I was like, they were so wrapped up in that moment. They did a great job of explaining it. And I'm like, man, what happened to drinking beer where people come in Hulk Hogan suits and we just throw down with our friends? If you feel like doing Friday, I don't even know what any of these terms mean anymore. Here's the Open. I get everyone excited by just being like, yo, this is going to be hard. And then everyone shows up and then they have a great time. And I step the fuck out of it and let them just have a great time. Very simple. But I'm not saying like, Friday Night Lights or you do this or that. Like it's something to consider, but you can, to Tony's point, you can do what made you successful in the first place by just getting out of your own way and partying with people, because that's what they want.
I mean, the Open's a great example of the exact opposite of agency, right? It's a thing you can't change. It's a thing you can't, it's there, it's going to be present. And unless you leave the CrossFit landscape or the ecosystems, you might as well find a way to work with it in a way that, that makes sense for both your mission, your vision, your values, but also your culture and your community. And so, and honestly, lastly, I would say find a way to use it as an advantage to better tell the story of your affiliate. And like the Open, strip it away from the workouts and strip it away from $20 and make it to the games and all those things. Like it's a chance that all of your people are going to get together for 3 to 4 weeks, and they'll do so finally for once, not because you've asked them to, because God knows every time you try to do something with them, they say no. But at least now that HQ says to do it for a couple of weeks, they're going to do it. So use it to your advantage, right? If that's the parameters that are set with you or for you, work inside them, right? Just like if you had a nutrition client that comes and says, I'm a vegan, you can't be like, I wish you ate chicken. It's just work with the parameters. And so if you got people there every single week, your job intentionally is to tell one story every single week. If you can do that, the Open becomes your best friend because it's a content bank. And like every affiliate owner I know tells me the same thing. I got to get more people. Well, how often do you tell your story? Huh? My what? Like, how often are you telling the story of your affiliate? Like, I mean, I post on social media a couple of times a week, right? Use the Open. It's 3 weeks of forced effort and attention and energy. You're going to have to do it. They're wrapped up in it. It's basically 7 days a week, no matter how much we try. Redos, do-overs, printouts, duct taping your floors. You might as well use it to your advantage. Just find a way to make it intentional. And like, I think that's the whole point of this episode, right? Is like, let's get them back to intention, because no one's coming to save them, right? And so if no one's coming to save you, the only thing that's going to save you is shifting your focus away from things that you can't control and distractions that are endless and incessant sort of energy sucks, and shifting you back towards things that are intentional and traction. And so like, I think the 3 takeaways that I can remember from this call are: commit to being able to create for 30 days. If you can do that, you're going to be wildly ahead. And you can, if we're going to talk about scaling, we got to start with who you are and what you are. So just find something you can do, an easy lift that you can do it every single morning before the world knocks, before the emails come, before the notifications go off, and create. The next thing that I would say would be sort of the other part of this conversation, which is crystallize your individuality. Spend some of that time each morning for 30 days after you create, reflecting on your story, your vision, your mission, why you're here, why you didn't sleep last night, why it's all worth it. Why aren't you going to bed at night and you're still doing this? Because if there wasn't a vision, you'd go back to work. You'd go get a job. You'd go grow up, Peter Pan. There's something that's keeping you here. Figure that piece of it out, because that's what makes my gym different than Andrew's gym and Carrie's gym and Jay's gym, right? And I think the last piece is the Open, right? It's catalyze your culture. And so they're already going to get together. Lean on them. Pour gas on that fire. Turn the camera on. Get the notepad out. Write the stories, tell the stories, get them to share the stories, but like, they're happening, right? So if you want to shift from distraction to traction, You have to get into intention. And that's just simply, in my opinion, stopping the easy focus on the problems and turning them into opportunities. If you can do that, you'll crush it. And the Open is like this monolith of a moment in the quote unquote CrossFit year where you get to literally point at something and be like, take the Open, for example. The pain in the ass that it is could also be your biggest asset if you just thought about it differently. And rant. That's it. Sorry.
No,
well done.
It's great. I think you summarized what we've been after in this episode. I think just a final thought on this, but humanize yourself, right? Like, people don't know your story. You are a small business owner. The more you can tell people who you are, where you came from, that you're a normal person, because I don't know about you guys, but in the vast majority of gyms I walked into, the majority of the new people coming in are intimidated, incredibly intimidated, but they stepped through the door. So they are then by nature intimidated by you, the owner. So humanize yourself and tell them your story. Because if you're already the person that's, snatching whatever is a reasonable, respectable number, or just doing the movement itself at this point, or doing a muscle up or whatever, you're doing all these things that these new people see as like unattainable. Humanize yourself. Oh, I don't have an athletic background. Oh, I come from this and I've been doing this for this many years. Like, I sound braggy when I talk to people at the gym because I say, oh, no, I've been doing this for 17 years. Like, well, you have did this, or you did this workout this way. Like, yeah, but I've been doing it for a very long time. Like, why are you a 130-pound woman comparing yourself to me? Like, we don't pull the same calories on the rower. It's never going to happen. But I think getting them to understand that, it's tell your story. Where did you come from? Oh, you're just a normal person. Cool. I'm supporting a small business. I'm not supporting people that I'm intimidated by.
I love that.
And I would say for my side of things is just going back to perspicacity, right? Which is just having a fucking sharp eye, right? So whether that be digging up testimonials from Google reviews, or looking at someone in your community that likes to take photos and tapping them on the shoulder and be like, hey, can you help me with this? Right? Just be fucking aware. And like you said, be intentional about what actions you take, but hopefully, you could develop kind of the mechanics around your content, because I think that's going to be a primary driver when it comes to growing your community.
I like the final. I feel like everybody in the squares just got like a final thoughts on what they took from the ep, and I kind of like that, because I used to listen to radio shows and they'd always do like final thoughts in the end. I was like, it's a great idea. My final thoughts were that I love doing this podcast because I get to just use any references I want, and whether it like makes sense or not.
Terrifying for
like,
us record, but
no, they're all sports, so it's okay.
Yeah. Like, Marcus
or Elon.
Marcus Aurelius. This is a Marcus Aurelius one. Everybody wants to read the Stoicism stuff, like Marcus Aurelius. And what they forget about Stoicism is there's a reason it didn't work. You can take some things from it, but there's a reason it didn't work, because they finally got conquered. They're just like, it doesn't matter. And so if these things matter to you, something we said about social media or about being intentional, like something struck you, and that's good. That's okay. Like, take what is striking you and sit with it, check on the behavior of maybe why it's happening, and analyze, and don't beat yourself up about being like, man, I hate this thing. And I hit a quote today on the old Insta, just because I felt like you can't hate and understand at the same time. Like, the human brain can't do that, whether it's an individual, whether whatever. So if I hate social media for some reason, it's because I don't understand it. And I just need to spend a little bit more time with the understanding piece. So,
if we go around this square, then like more things are going to percolate, and like, because that quote makes me think you can't be right and be connected at the same time. Which we try to be. Not that has any bearing on the conversation, but it does.
We'll tee that up for next episode.
Yeah, there you go.
Right, yeah.
Jay, scrub that into a teaser.
Love it.